In the 6 years I've been making YouTube videos, I always keep my thoughts to a minimum, try to keep them out of the videos. But I thought, since it's the end of the year and I never really have done like a rambling video, just sharing my thoughts, it seemed like a good time to do it for once. Try it out, see how it goes. So, if you want me to talk at you for 20 minutes, then watch this video. If not, I totally understand if you skip it. Morning, YouTube. I've been really busy in the month of December. I've actually been really busy the last several months. It's been just crazy busy. Unreal. I just can't even describe it. So I really don't have a video for you as far as working. And when I went to Kansas City the last couple days to see the in-laws for Christmas, I got to thinking, why not do a little bit of a just general update of what's going on in my life. There's a lot of thoughts in my head that I say in a video, but I end up cutting it out of the video because I just feel like it doesn't have anything to do with the video. I try to put some of that stuff in the wood chipper vlog, but I still cut a lot of that stuff out just because, you know, it'd be just too much talking. It really would be. So I made some notes while I was gone about stuff I wanted to talk about, and we'll just have a little end of the year chat, I guess we'll call it. First thing I'm going to talk about is I thought I was ready to go with the Monkey Fist match holder thing. I really don't even have a name for it yet. But everybody reminded me that it really needs to have my logo on it, a name, something on it. And that's 100% true. I can't just put something out there with absolutely no markings on it. Also, I really want to anodize it. So I think I'm going to wait a little while on that before I go into production. I had a lot of good feedback on that. I really have some great viewers. Y'all are great. So yeah, a lot of people said you're interested in it. A lot of people said you'd rather just donate to my channel. So eventually I'm going to set up donations. I'm not sure if I'm going to do YouTube's, what do they call that? Fundraising or something? I don't know what they call it. Or if I'm going to go with Patreon. There's people even saying just I can set up donations through PayPal. I really don't have a clue which way I'm going to do it. And most likely I'll end up doing a couple of them. But I will make an entire video on the update of that as we go along. I'm trying to decide if I want to try acid etching my logo into the body of the match capsule, or if I want to engrave it with making myself a little CNC machine. After seeing John Saunders' cute little CNC machine he made for engraving, I'm really tempted to make one of those because I would use that for a lot of things around the shop. And, you know, I could do custom engraving on those match holders as well. So I'm really tempted to go ahead and make one of those, which will put production of the match holders off for a while. But I think it'll be worth it. And actually, I think it's necessary at this point. One of the other things I really wanted to make a video on is I think I'm going to talk a lot about the new tools that I purchased this year. I bought a lot of new tools this year. Probably more than I should have, but I'm a firm believer in the idea that if you don't have a tool and you need it, you will pay for it many times over. Having a tool that you need and using it makes sense. So, yeah, there was, you know, I actually had a pretty good year financially. So I went ahead and just bought tools, and part of that's a tax write-off too, you know. That'll help at the end of the year here. I've got to pay taxes, but Some of it, I really just needed those tools for the job. And my back has been getting a lot worse too. I've had back troubles since my junior year of high school. I can't remember the medical name for it now, but basically I can't even think how to describe it now. I basically displaced a vertebrae in my back, in my lower back in high school, and I've had back trouble ever since, and I really shouldn't be lifting much. So getting the Portaband was huge on that. That is so nice. I really love that thing. But anyway, I'm going to do a whole video, I think, on talking about my tools that I got this year, and also the reason for buying some of the tools I did was just because I just haven't had the time to make them. Like, one of the great things I got is this turret tool post for the Atlas lathe. Got it for 30 bucks. I thought that was a heck of a deal. And it's awesome. I was going to make one and do a video on it. It has been on my list for videos to do and tools to make for years, literally years. And yeah, when I came across this one for 30 bucks, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense to do it, you know, just spend 30 bucks instead of spending hours building one. So I'll do a video on that someday, but you know, like I said, it comes down to time versus money a lot of times. Sometimes it just does not make sense to try to spend extra hours in your day making something when you can buy it. You know, if you got time, then do it. You know, I mean, that's the thing. And building stuff like that is fun. I enjoy it. But when I am pressed for time, and you know, why stress myself out trying to work more hours in a day? And speaking of working, one of the things I've really been thinking about this last year is doing less on-site work. I'm trying to figure out how to do that. For those who don't know, my business is built on on-site work. I actually do very little work here in the shop. I have my big welding truck. It's an International 1900, S1900, whatever the model number is. You know, 466 engine, 10-speed transmission, air brakes. Yeah, so I'm really tempted to do less on-site work. It really is hard on my body to actually go out and do that on-site work. You know, if it's a simple repair, like, you know, repairing a hitch on a plow or something like that, I don't mind. I even do a little bit of mechanics work because I used to be a diesel mechanic. So sometimes I will go out and remove planetaries off of tractors and stuff like that. I really don't mind doing that stuff. Gone for, you know, 2-3 hours, come back. But the building corral, building huge hay sheds, the large projects that I'm there for weeks at a time, you know, 10, 12 hours a day at a time, it's really wearing me out. You know, I'm pushing 40, and with my back troubles, it makes me feel old, honestly. Another reason I'm kind of thinking about doing that is this is my grandpa's shop. I have a deal worked out with him to work in here, and he has not worked in this shop once. I'm positive once in the last year. I got that footage of him doing some grinding on a little stand he was building, and I mean, he was literally up here for like a half an hour that day doing that, and I think that is all I've seen him in here the last year. So part of me is kind of wondering if I need to like renegotiate the deal that I have with him and maybe start doing just custom builds here in the shop a lot more. It's what I'd like to do, actually, is build something and then sell it. Like, not have a customer wanting it done from the beginning, you know, just like building the wood chipper or the trebuchet. Just build it and then try to sell it and make my money back that way. I did that with the power grader like a year and a half ago, the driveway maintainer, whatever you want to call it, and it was a lot of fun. I really did enjoy doing that. You know, I didn't have any pressure of trying to get it right and please the customer. I just worked on it, and at the end I tried to sell it. I gotta say I don't like selling things though. That was a little aggravating for me. But I think once I get that figured out, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. So yeah, I'm kind of considering changing my business. And that's also why my business name is Wide Vision. You know, I don't actually have like welding or metal fabrication or anything in the name of it because I don't want to narrow myself on what I do. When I actually started my business in 2005, well, full-time, I was doing it part-time before that, but when I actually quit my other job, my real job, and just started doing this full-time in 2005, I was even considering getting into plastic work at the time, like injection molding and stuff like that, because there was a demand for it around here. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I was talking to somebody at the time, and they're like, you know, there's money in that. And so I didn't want to, you know, limit myself in a name that was metal specific. You know, I don't know where my company will go. I mean, they're just keep an open mind, right? So yeah, I didn't really want anything very specific. You know, you got to have a wide vision. That's where my name comes from. You gotta think outside the box. Although, in hindsight, no pun intended, I might have picked a name that was a little bit easier to say. I get tongue-tied trying to say Wide Vision. It doesn't roll off the tongue very well, and I didn't realize that until, I don't know, a couple years into it, and I was really trying to tell people, and I'm like, what? Can you spell that? Oh yeah, the trebuchet is not done. I switched to the wood chipper build because I thought, well, one of these days I'll get out there and finish the trebuchet. The actual build itself, I'm pretty sure is done. I don't think I'll do anything more to it, but I want to film at least 2 episodes of it yet. One episode will be describing the physics behind it. You know, how do you get a longer launch versus a shorter launch, a higher launch, a lower launch? You know, how do you hit your target? That's what I'm trying to say. Heavier, lighter objects. I had a lot of people ask me about that during the series, and the very first episode actually explains a little bit on the Lego model, but I think most people actually just skip that episode according to my analytics and just go straight to the build, which makes sense. As a matter of fact, I think a lot of people are skipping like the first several episodes. But anyway, point being, I need to do at least 2 more episodes on the trebuchet and get that wrapped up. And then when I get done with that, I will condense it down to hopefully about a 15-minute video. Not quite sure. That's a lot of footage to shrink into 15 minutes, but I think I can do it. Just hit it hard and fast and, you know, point people to the other episodes that it comes from if they want to know more. So I got to get that done, but I don't know when. Yeah, really don't know when. Also, if you're a Redditor, Arduino versus Evil linked into one of his comments or descriptions on the video or something, a subreddit called YouTube Builders. So go check it out. It's really small, very few people there right now, not much conversation going on, but it has huge potential for discussing videos on YouTube. And the reason it's better than just talking in the comments on YouTube is because it's a forum. So if you know what Reddit is at all, check out YouTube Builders. One of the things that just kind of random, I really didn't know where to put it in a video, but it's really been on my mind lately. It just keeps kicking to the front of my mind. Is I was watching this list on YouTube. It was a video of myths about survival that will get you killed, I think was the title, or something to that effect. And one of the things they said in there is that you will never suddenly find yourself in a survival situation. Finding yourself in a survival situation is a result of a series of bad decisions. And like, it just irritated me the second I heard that. And I'm like, I mean, I had to think about it because I'm like, well, is that true? So I was like, well, what if you're flying in an airplane from Denver to Phoenix, like a flight I took a few years ago, and the plane crashes in the mountains? To me, you're in a survival situation, and so what? Are you going to say the bad decision was getting on the airplane? I mean, like, how far back in this chain of bad decisions are you going to say, oh no, the bad decision was here? I mean, if you're going to go with that argument, you got to go all the way back to leaving your house. And even then you could say, well, you shouldn't stay in your house because it could catch on fire. So I'm like, I think in my mind, I have a unique perspective on survival because I have lived out here in northwest Kansas. I am 12 miles from the nearest town, and that town has a population of 302. Not 302,000, just straight up 302. I'm on my own. I have to be self-reliant. There is no calling the cops out here. There is no calling the ambulance out here. I mean, seriously, I might as well be in Alaska somewhere because it is the same infrastructure. There's nobody to depend on except for me. And in my mind, every day is a survival situation. Another good one that I heard about was this couple that went to, I don't know, Palm Springs, California. There's some mountains up there, I think is where it was. They took a tourist bus up to the top of one of the mountains there. I don't know if you call them mountains, hills, whatever they have around there. And they got off the bus and they wanted to get a picture from a lookout point back down into the valley. And they took off into the trees, thought they were on the trail. Either they were on a trail and lost the trail, or were not on a trail. But anyway, point being, they could not find their way back to the bus. So they ended up spending like 3 days up there trying to find their way back to the tourist destination where the bus dropped them off. I mean, yeah, you could argue, okay, that was a bad decision to decide to go, into the forest and take a picture, but on the other hand, I really wouldn't make that argument that that was like a bad decision. But, they got lost somehow, and that happens. It can happen. I've been backpacking for 22 years now, and it is very easy to do. When you're in territory you do not know, you can get lost instantly. And I don't know, it's really been irritating me that they put this in this video of you will never suddenly find yourself in a survival situation. It is very possible. Actually, there was 2 kids killed a few years ago in a blizzard. They took off. It was around here somewhere. I don't know. It wasn't too close. I didn't know them. But they just went out for a joyride one evening. It was a beautiful, clear day. It was seriously like 60 degrees out, so they didn't take coats. They didn't take water. They didn't take anything. They just went out for a joyride one evening. And while they were gone, literally a whiteout blizzard rolled in. They went off the road because they couldn't see the road anymore in the whiteout, got stuck in the ditch, and they froze to death because, they didn't have anything warm with them. And, that can happen out here on the plains. It can literally be 70 degrees, and 2 hours later it's a whiteout blizzard. That is 20 degrees, with 40-mile-an-hour winds. And it does happen. And if you're not watching the weather forecast, you don't know what's coming in. A lot of kids don't watch the weather forecast at all. A lot of people don't even watch the weather forecast. It really is very easy to get stuck in a blizzard out here during the winter. It's a big concern. The snow will drift and it'll fill up the ditches if the road has ditches to begin with, which most of the roads down around here don't. And so if you drift off the road because you can't see it in the whiteout, there's no markers for you to find anything. If the field happens to be plowed recently, you're going to get stuck. If there is a ditch, then you're going to get stuck because it's probably full of snow, which it can happen where the ditches fill up with snow, so it looks perfectly level and you just go right off into it. Poof. A lot can happen. I don't know, it's just been stuck in my head that do you really just suddenly find yourself in a survival situation, or is it really bad decisions that get you there? And I don't know. I think just telling people that they will never suddenly find themselves in a survival situation is just a bunch of hooey, and that people need to be prepared. You really do. You don't need to be a crazy prepper and have 10,000 rounds of ammo with you everywhere you go, but I really do think that if you're going to be, especially if you know you're going to be in a situation, like if you're traveling down interstate in your car, do you have a gallon of water with you? Do you have blankets with you? Do you have, some road flares? Do you have a cell phone? I mean, do you have food for a couple days with you that, food that doesn't need to be cooked? You should have that stuff in your car, because if your car breaks down, you might be there for a while, especially out here in Kansas before somebody finds you. Especially if you don't have cell phone signal, or like I said, if you're in a blizzard, it might be 2 days before they can bust through the snow to get to you. Anyway, whatever. I'll shut up now. I think that's everything on my list. This video is going to be really long. Holy cow, I've been talking for half an hour. I will try to cut a lot of that out of there. It's even funny, I made a video about talking, and I'm going to trim it down because I talk too much. I normally don't talk very much at all. Most people say I need to talk more, and I don't. I really don't like crowds, and if it's not my friends, I really don't like talking to the people. So it's interesting that I do this YouTube so well. Like, the camera doesn't bother me. I actually kind of enjoy talking to it, and I kind of enjoy envisioning that I'm talking to you. But I think that's what it is. In my head, it's a one-on-one conversation. I have that core group of people who comment on my videos, and when I'm making a video, that's who I'm talking to, is some of those people, So it really is like a one-on-one conversation for me. It's kind of interesting. So, yeah, that's definitely enough rambling for this video. Alright, well, if you listened to all of this, I appreciate it. If not, I understand. Nothing exciting going on. It's just a video where I jabber on. So thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll have a video on the wood chipper here really soon. Get back to that, and we'll see y'all later.